Everybody, welcome back. It's your girl Internet Zing, and today is a video about DreamWorks The Bad Guys. Since you guys saw my movie review and audience recording of seeing The Bad Guys, and I decided to do some other videos that have to do with DreamWorks The Bad Guys, and the channel Wicked Binge did some videos about The Bad Guys, and this one's called DreamWorks The Bad Guys Opinions We Love and Hate. So I'm guessing he's going to talk about the movie and what people love and hate about it, and maybe it will compare to the things I talked about when I did the movie review. So I don't know, I thought I'd choose it to watch and see how interesting this could be. But anyway, let's get started on it.
The Bad Guys is the latest DreamWorks film and their first non-sequel since 2019. One could even say it's been their only good film in quite the period. But we won't get into that now. With a big movie, especially an animated one that has recently dropped, a lot of opinions have been formed on the internet. So we're going to take a look at some of the most popular ones and see which ones we agree with and which ones we despise.
You should have eaten him when you had the chance.
Yup. I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and these are the Bad Guys' opinions that we love and hate.
Okay, this might be very interesting.
And just a heads up, spoilers ahead. The first opinion that we wanted to tackle was that it's the first good DreamWorks movie since blank. Now, we say blank because almost any film could be inserted into that spot. Our writer's opinion is that the last great DreamWorks movie was 2017's Captain Underpants, while others haven't liked the DreamWorks
How to Train Your Dragon
since
3,
2014's How to Train Your Dragon 2, or in some critics' opinion,
Shrek
2004's Shrek 2. Now, the problems with recent DreamWorks films we'll get into in a moment, but it comes down to each their own. We really enjoyed the film, as evidenced by the fact that we've already made quite a few videos on the topic. But we have mixed feelings on the topic because we haven't been as critical as many of DreamWorks' recent films. The next take that we wanted to talk about is that it's good to break from the DreamWorks sequel train. This was a take from CellSpec's The Bad Guys is Great video, and we've brought it up briefly as well. Since April of 2020, the only DreamWorks movies have been sequels to previous ones, those being Trolls World Tour, The Croods The New Age, Spirit Untamed, and The Boss Baby Family Business. All of these movies have been bashed at best and dragged at worst for being bad films, some of which being sequels to films that many have argued were not great films to begin with. So, in my eyes, it definitely is nice to see a whole new property from DreamWorks, especially one based on a children's book series that they've been trying to make a movie about for a while. And given how great The Bad Guys was as an animated feature, we definitely love this take because it's honestly a relief to see something new. A very quick thing to discuss is the Pulp Fiction homage was a good place to start the film. This has been talked about in quite a few different reviews, but this specific take is from the aforementioned CellSpec's video. The opening few shots of the film mimic the opening of the classic film Pulp Fiction, to which many films pay homage.
Obviously,
it's not the same, but it's close, and it's a fun reference. So as huge Tarantino fans, we definitely have to say that we love this take. A take that we saw a lot of was that the movie...
Yeah, because I just want to quickly say, some people were saying this is Bad Guys, this is a Quentin Tarantino movie, and I'm like, Quentin Tarantino movie? Like, what do you mean by that? He does a lot of, like, violent, you know, stuff, but now I can see why, because it's a little Pulp Fiction, so, okay then, that makes a lot of sense.
The movie is similar to Zootopia.
Yes!
Like comparing it to Megamind, which we already did a video
for
on.
Megamind.
The Bad Guys shares a lot of similarities with the film Zootopia. This is beyond the anthropomorphic furry animals as main characters. It comes from a variety of things, including its theme. It shares a very similar theme to Zootopia, the idea that carnivorous creatures are frowned upon and racially profiled for being dangerous, limiting them from being good people. It even nails the same twist for a villain, with the cutesy, harmless, fluffy creature, either a sheep in Bellwether's case, or a guinea pig in Marmalade's case, being massively evil creatures.
What do you say? We have some fun.
Honestly, we could very well discuss the two movies and their similarities for a while, and which one is better really comes down to preference, but we definitely agree with this take. The next idea...
I have to say, you know, if I had to choose which one I like better, I'm sorry, but I would have to say Zootopia. Because even though The Bad Guys was good, but Zootopia was so well done on how they portrayed, you know, the animal society and how they put together the themes of racial discrimination, prejudice, and, you know, the predators and prey, and, you know, just the way they put together, and with all these different themes that are the main issues in our world today and with society. I just thought it was so well done of how they put it together, and especially in a, you know, animal city. But no, I love Zootopia a lot better, but no offense. I like the bad guys, but Zootopia is 10 times better.
Is Marmalade is a fun villain, but the twist was dumb and or predictable. Now,
yes.
a lot of films recently have tried to hit the twist villain idea. Some succeed, like Turbo in Wreck-It Ralph, or Charles Muntz in Up, and others kind of don't, like Evelyn in The Incredibles 2,
of course
or
she's the villain
in Zootopia. Now, not every twist villain needs to be perfect.
Oh, look at this,
and it was pretty easy to see Marmalade become the villain. He was one of like 7 animal characters, and he says some things early in the movie that are obviously villainous, when you really think about it. Now, much like the opinion states, he is still a fun villain. However, he wasn't the greatest twist villain, which we definitely have to knock some points on. And we do agree with this take.
I agree.
It was pretty obvious from the get-go.
It's
the
so
next
obvious.
take that we want to discuss is that Pierre Perifel, the director, knocked it out of the park for his directorial debut. This take comes from LS Mark in his YouTube video, The Bad Guys Isn't Bad, but we want to make one little caveat. This is not technically his directorial debut, because he's been directing short films since 2015. That said, this is his first cinematic directorial debut, after working in the animation department of many DreamWorks films. But that's besides the point, because we definitely agree here that he really knocked it out of the park directing The Bad Guys. There are some little things we could pick apart, but that can be said for most movies. And The Bad Guys was a pretty awesome animated film. Another take from a lot of places, but specifically LS Mark's video, was that the plot was predictable. This is a pretty quick thing to discuss because we've made mention of it already.
Predictable.
The plot of the movie is very simple. A bunch of bad guys pretend to be good guys to perform a heist, and then realize they actually want to be good guys. Then of course there is the twist villain, Marmalade, and the twist that Governor Foxington is actually known criminal Crimson Paw.
Crimson Paw!
Punch.
Now this plot is very simple. There's no getting around
Diane.
it. And it is a kids movie, which is definitely part of it. Not to say kids wouldn't pick up on the plot, but the story is still designed to be pretty simple. And the plot
I love that
exactly
scene. That was so awesome.
So we have to say that we agree with this take. The final take from LS Mark is that Shark, Tarantula, and Piranha don't leave a strong impression. This stems from the fact that these characters aren't as front and center as Snake and Wolf are in the film. However, we think the 3 of them are fun characters and honestly some of our favorites in the movie. So we have to say that we disagree with this take, because we do think the 3 of them leave a long-lasting impression, even if they're not as important as Snake or Wolf. Shark is probably our favorite character, and Tarantula is a lot of fun
I love Tarantula!
Though I suppose they could have been made more important. One take meant...
Well, I will say, I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised that he disagreed with that, because, I mean, for me, I felt like it focused too much on Mr. Wolf and Mr. Snake's friendship and their development comparing to, you know, their friendship with Shark, Tarantula, and Piranha. And also, like, for me, I kind of wish there was a little bit more development on these 3 characters of, like, how do they deal with the scary stereotype, you know? I felt like they didn't really show anything. I don't know. I probably maybe they did and I just missed it. I don't know. But I wish they probably showed a little bit more about what their deal with the scary stereotype, or what is the scary stereotype for, you know, each of them. But I don't know. But I thought that was an interesting fact, because I thought there should have been more development with these 3 characters. But evidently he disagreed with that. But that's just my opinion. So.
Mentioned by YouTuber Saberspark is Crimson Paw shouldn't have been governor. Now we have to mention that Saberspark does not hold this opinion. He instead mentions it as a nitpick from other people. And we just don't understand this. We don't know how long it's been since Crimson Paw gave up to become part of politics and throw off the stereotypes. But it can be said it took her a while. Sure, she still has all her skills,
my point!
so that implies it hasn't been that long. But we don't understand how it hasn't been long enough for her to become a governor. In fact, this is probably one of the best twists in modern animated movies, because we didn't expect it in the slightest. So we have to say, yes, we heavily disagree with this take as well.
Guess I'm still the best bad guy the world has ever seen.
A take
No, okay, but I just want to quickly say, that was what I wanted to... Like, that was the thing that I was kind of curious about when I did the movie review of, like, wait, how all of a sudden did she became the governor? Like, how did it went from being Crimson Paw to the governor? Like, how did that happen? How did that start? Like, you know, that was the thing I kind of was like, even though I love her as the governor, and she's Crimson Paw, like, come on. But yeah, I think it was kind of smart that she became the governor, but at the same time, I kind of understand people's point of like, wait, but how did she become the governor when back then she was a criminal? So how is that possible? So I totally get that. I mean, I don't know, maybe they might explain a little bit of what was the timeline between that. And plus the fact that he said that it happened in a short amount of time, so this basically happened recently. So I don't know. I mean, I wish maybe in the sequel that they might explain bits of that, but I don't know. So
the characters are the best part of the film. In almost every review
absolutely
of the movie,
agree.
It's almost universally agreed that the characters are the best part. Not the plot or the story or the themes, but the characters themselves. They're well written and well thought out, and probably some of the best DreamWorks has come up with since the How to Train Your Dragon films. And given the fact the plot is pretty simple, as we mentioned, we fully agree.
I
with
love
this
the
take.
galaxy.
Speaking of good, we also want to talk about the idea that the animation is amazing. Yes,
yes,
like a lot of films nowadays, it is a 3D animated film. However, they mix in plenty of 2D elements that make the film so much better, such as action lines taken from anime. The animation is uniquely stylized in such a way you couldn't mix it up.
Oh, I love that scene! That's so cool!
In fact, almost every review cites the animation as a reason to see the film. And some, like LS Mark, say that even if the film was bad, he would recommend people to see the movie because of the animation. Because the animators definitely knocked it out of the park with the animation quality and the unique stylization.
I will say, yeah, that was another thing, was that the animation was really, really good. And I don't remember if I mentioned it in the movie review, but I did mention, like, it is mostly 2D with a little hint of 3D, but there's also some comic little things in the animation. And it, like, I kind of felt like there was a little bit of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Not a lot, but just a little hint of it. You know, basically with, like, the action or, you know, just those little kind of, like, elements that they add to, you know, the animation. I thought there was a little bit of a comic in it, but I don't really know. I can't really think of an example, but I did know there was a little bit of a comic book little thing in this animation movie.
Talk about is that the movie is a breath of new life for DreamWorks, which is our
Yep.
final reference to the Cell Specs video. And it basically points out that this movie is so different yet so perfect for a DreamWorks movie that it breathes new life into the studio. This plays off the aforementioned fact that this isn't a sequel, and also coming from the parody of the heist genre, as well as its striking art
But it will
style
be a
and severe
sequel.
uniqueness among its brethren. The sheer fact of how unique the film feels definitely lends to its freshness in our eyes, leading us to absolutely love this take. That said, the take that we need to talk about is that Piranha's fart jokes are bad. This is something that exists in a lot of kids' films. Fart humor is something that comes up from time to time. Shrek did it, some Disney movies do it, and it comes down to the target audience. It makes sense because children love these kinds of jokes, and we can't blame them. Since we all did when we were younger too.
I hate
but for
fart
adults
jokes.
watching with their kids, they tend to get a bit annoying. We certainly can't blame the film for using them, but we have to agree that the movie would be better off without them. But then again, we're adults. We have no say in this. The final opinion.
But I will say they didn't use a lot of it. They probably used the fart joke like 2-3 times. So it wasn't a lot. So it was only a little bit. So that's the thing. Even though they had some, it was very little. So they didn't add too much of it. So that's kind of the good thing about it.
We wanted to talk about comes from the director of the film himself, Pierre Perifel. That being the race for realism is on its way out. Now this is another animation thing, and is a bit more wide in scope than the movie itself. But it does pertain to the film. When talking about the stylization of the film, he mentions that the race for realistic films in animation is on the way out. One of the biggest issues with more modern animation is trying to make it look realistic. Films from all the different studios shoot for reality, including the Toy Story series, Frozen, Encanto, and Shrek. You know, when it comes to the human characters, not the ogres. They still look cartoony and have cartoonish moments, but the designs are still meant to be realistic. After Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, animated movies started to work more on style than realism, which many have said makes these modern animated movies a lot better. And this movie obviously fits into that category. And we can't wait to see more of this style in Puss in Boots 2,
no,
which
not
also
Puss
seems
in
to have
Boots
a very
2.
stylized art form to it. So we absolutely love this take and hope it stays true. But let us know in the comments.
No, I will say this. Yes, I never thought about that, but yeah, the animation is now changing a lot because they're using more, this type of animation, kind of comic book animation than 3D animation, very realistic kind of animation. But the fact of they mentioned about Puss in Boots 2, I think it's called Puss in Boots The Last Wish. Look, I mean, I love the first one, but I am so disappointed with the second one. Even though the second one hasn't come out yet, I'm still gonna see it, but the thing I'm mostly disappointed is the animation. I'm sorry, the animation in Puss in Boots The Last Wish is horrible. Just the details and the way Puss in Boots looked, and I noticed a difference in his hat. It's really, really bad, and I don't know. I'm actually kind of scared for the new Puss in Boots movie. Even though how much I loved the first one, and I was so excited for the sequel, but then when I saw the trailer and realized how different the animation was, I was like, oh hell no, they did not just do that. Okay, so that was, a compilation about the DreamWorks, the bad guys, the opinions we love and hate. There were some things that I already knew from the start that I totally agree with, and some new ones that I never thought about. But yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say so far. Probably I might do more. I might try to do that DreamWorks bad guys relationship healthy to toxic. I probably would do that one. That looks very interesting to watch. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. I can't wait to do more things have to do with the bad guys. I don't know. But like my video, subscribe my channel, leave comments below what you thought about the video, and catch on to the next reaction video, and I'll see you later, guys.